In a pandemic that's affected every corner of the world, the suggestion that one country could be prioritized in the rollout of a vaccine has caused a massive outcry. Paul Hudson, the head of pharmaceutical giant Sanofi, has told Bloomberg News,
"The US government has the right to the largest pre-order because it's invested in taking the risk."
The French government, which provides around $162 million annually in research tax credits to the Paris-based firm, has been quick to push back. The president's office has summoned representatives from Sanofi and leaders from all political parties, saying that equal access to treatment is non-negotiable.
For me, the question isn't about who will get the vaccine first. It's about who will find a vaccine first. And I can guarantee that when we have a vaccine, we will do everything necessary so that the French people can benefit from it, so that the Europeans can benefit from it, so that the whole planet can benefit from it in solidarity.
Sanofi's comments are part of a troubling trend. In April, Pascal Soriot, the CEO of another leading drug maker, AstraZeneca, said that if his company's joint project with Oxford University leads to a viable vaccine, it will focus on building capacity in the UK first before extending it to the rest of the world. All this has prompted 140 world leaders to sign an open letter calling for vaccines and tests to be provided free of charge to everyone to ensure that poor and vulnerable populations aren't last in line again.
Sanofi CEO has gone on an apology tour, promising that any vaccine produced will be available to everyone. But Hudson insists that he was making a broader point about how the EU needs to act more quickly and collaboratively in order to keep up with the rest of the world, not just to develop a COVID-19 vaccine, but for future research too.
According to the World Health Organization, about a dozen groups are working on more than 100 different types of COVID-19 vaccines. Sanofi has 2 projects underway, including one with its British rival GlaxoSmithKline, which has received funding from the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. The U.S. federal agency has spent more than $30 million to fund Sanofi's COVID-19 program alone, and has committed more than $1 billion to other pharma companies, including Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. Hudson says this model allows companies to share the financial risk of developing new vaccines with the government and to coordinate their efforts more effectively. An approach, he says, is lacking in Europe.
It was never a choice. We need to get vaccines to everybody across the world, all parts of the world, doses for everybody. We're all going to have to play a huge part in that, because if we add all the manufacturers together, it still perhaps won't be enough. We must be at the top of our game. We must be ready.
Whoever ultimately succeeds in finding a vaccine, and their sponsors, will have a deciding role in how the treatment is distributed and to whom. In the beginning of May, the EU hosted an online pledging conference. It raised $8 billion from world leaders and urged a united global effort against COVID-19. But that's just one step in the long road ahead to catch up with China and the US. Miranda Lin, TRT World, Paris.